More than a dozen people were killed today in two separate instances in the state of Veracruz. The first was when gunmen attacked 3 buses, and the second was in a city in the northern part of the state where up to 4 people were killed. Now, Veracruz is a state that has increasingly seen its share of drug violence, where authorities are battling against organized crime. Wearing masks and armed with high-caliber weapons, these Marines now guard one of the main entrances to the Gulf Coast city of Veracruz. A clear sign of militarization after state officials dismissed all 900 police officers in a bold move to try and root out corruption.
Starting from today and as a temporary measure, Marine troops will support the police in terms of public security in the areas of Veracruz and Boca del Rio.
Home to Mexico's largest port, this coastal town was spared from drug violence until earlier this year, when a turf war broke out between the Zeta and Sinaloa cartels. The violence peaked in September when 35 bodies were dumped in the main plaza in broad daylight, turning the center of the city into a cemetery. The decision to replace the entire force is part of President Felipe Calderón's program to vet and retrain more than 400,000 municipal police officers throughout the country. Deploying the military to replace and reinforce local police isn't a new strategy. It's already happened in cities like Ciudad Juárez and Monterrey, but as critics point out, it often produces mixed results. A report earlier this year by Human Rights Watch documented a large increase in human rights violations in areas where the military was deployed. Despite Mexicans' high approval for the armed forces, reports of torture, disappearances, and extrajudicial killings increase.
When they're asked to carry out arrests and to gather information and investigations, they commit abuses, serious abuses.
State officials claim that the dismissed officers can apply to the new training programs. But analysts say that the stigma attached to the police prevents many of them from finding jobs in the private sector, and also makes them more vulnerable to organized crime.
The great paradox is that we pay for the training of organized crime through the bad planning and the training of the police. Then we get rid of the police and they go to organized crime.
The government has given no time limit on how long the Marines will be policing the streets of Veracruz. Once known as a tranquil seaside resort, but better known these days as the latest battleground in Mexico's war on organized crime. There are nearly 2,500 Marines that are deployed throughout the state of Veracruz, but if violence continues to escalate, it's expected that that number could increase.